This is a nightmare scenario.
We don't know if the coronavirus will be a lesser threat after this summer, or if it'll come crashing down on California in a second wave. We don't expect a vaccine by then, and it's the time of year when PG&E's power lines sparked fires that killed more than 100 people in just the last 3 years.
We could have increases in COVID just because of PG&E, and that is a threat nobody wants to see.
Customer advocate Mark Toney points out that PG&E's safety problems were so bad, the company had to plan blackouts last October that shut the power down to more than 2 million people. But with this virus going around, he argues,
what PG&E needs to be told to do is they need to use those shutoffs as an absolute last resort.
We have a snag there. PG&E, the company, is a convicted federal felon, still serving time on probation, and it has to answer to a federal judge. That judge pushed hard for PG&E to cut the power during windstorms. PG&E deserves credit for shutting off the power, Judge William Alsop wrote in an order this week. He called photos of the wind damage to PG&E lines proof that the blackouts saved homes and lives. We must continue to tolerate blackouts as the lesser evil until PG&E has come into compliance and the grid is safe to operate in high winds. But that's supposed to take years to finish. COVID is here now.
And we need to see a dramatic reduction in these shutoffs.
PG&E declined to speak on camera for this story, but in a written statement promised it's improving power line safety to make blackouts this year smaller in size, shorter in duration, and smarter for customers. PG&E's past safety promises have fallen short time and time again. The company also says it's working with state and health leaders to make plans to help people if there are shutoffs, and people have to abandon their homes during the pandemic.
Last time we had these day shelters that were these temporary tents. Those are not going to work.
These temporary day shelters cannot be anything like we saw last year, where people were standing in line, where people were mingling with each other, recharging their phones.
Cal Fire is preparing for the worst. Blackouts, COVID, and a big burning fire together.
And it could happen, and we have to plan that it will happen.
If you're evacuating a whole community due to a wildfire, you don't want a disease spreading like wildfire among those people.
You're exactly right, because our primary job is to protect the public. And if we put them in an area or don't exercise that self-distancing, we've already, in so many words, we've started another incident.
When the shelter at home is lifted, people who are vulnerable still are supposed to stay at home. Okay.
Tony says the state and PG&E need to pay special attention to older people and those with health problems during the blackouts.
What would you tell customers who were in the shutoff zones last year?
The time to plan is absolutely now, not to wait till we get an announcement that they're going to be shutoffs in 48 hours.
Supplies, food that doesn't need power to cook, and backup power are all worth thinking about while we're staying home.